Welcome to the Coffee Clutch, a social gathering for good conversation over a cup of coffee. Grab your cup and let's get started. Today is an old saying. It's very old, from biblical times, and many say it actually goes well beyond biblical times. It has its basic roots in almost all major religions, according to Wikipedia. But what is that old saying? It's the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now we find that in the Bible in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, and Luke again in chapter 6, verse 31. And it was when Christ was speaking on the Sermon on the Mount. Now, most of us have heard this, and many of us have even been admonished to do just that by our parents when we were young. Don't you do that to your brother or your sister? Is that what you'd want them to do to you? We've heard that before. And on the surface, it's a very simple, straightforward idea. But very few things in life are ever simple and straightforward. What about nowadays? What does it mean to do unto others as you would have them do unto you? A lot of times this is a cry for, don't tell me what to do. You wouldn't want me to tell you what to do. And depending on the circumstances, that may or may not be true. But as we're walking along in life, let's say we have a dear friend, and we see them behaving in a fashion that we know ultimately isn't going to benefit them. We've all been around the college scene, or many of us have, and if it wasn't the college scene, maybe it was the high school scene. The drinking, the partying, walking away from our studies. Many of us have done that at one time or another. Put off the homework, put off the studying for the big exam to go out and party. Once in the blue moon, not a problem, necessarily. But when it becomes a habit, you know that's not going to be a good thing for that person. And while you don't want people to tell you what to do, and therefore you shouldn't tell other people what to do, how do you address the situation? Is it the golden rule to just keep your mouth shut when you see a friend going down a road that might end up rather tragically, and you know it, and you want to talk to them about it? Do you, or do you not? And there are a multitude of examples we could give. You know, the friend who you know's getting involved with someone who's married. Ugh, how we know where that can go, and it's nowhere good. So does the golden rule forbid us from saying anything because we don't want people telling us what to do, so we can't tell them what to do? I say no. I don't think that is what the golden rule is about. I think on your day-to-day friendships and relationships, the very core of those relationships is sharing your ideas and your beliefs. And so if you see a friend who's going down a road, as the example laid out, partying when they need to be doing their studying, or possibly getting involved with somebody who's married. And again, we could go down all sorts of roads. It could be drugs. It could be a variety of things that are not good for your friend. Well, that's what a friendship is about. That's what a relationship is about, is helping each other. Because sometimes we can be blind to the decisions that we're making, or blind to the situations we're getting involved in. And a true friend is going to, with charity and love, help you. Now, word of warning. When that friend tries to help the one that's going down the wrong road, that does not mean that your advice will be taken well. And in fact, I have seen friendships dissolve because somebody made the decision, I'm going to intervene. I'm going to tell my friend that this is not a good idea. We don't really generally like to be told what to do. But I know in my opinion, I think it's more important to be able to live with a clear conscience and to be able to say, you know, I saw my friend going in that direction. I said something. I really truly said it out of love. That's an important attribute. To say it out of love, which is to will the good of the other person. That's what love really is to just will the good of the other person. And the ultimate good is heaven. And so that's ultimately the desire for the person that you love, is to help them get to heaven and to try to live a life consistent with that goal. So while that advice may not be taken well in the short term, and maybe that friendship will be forever severed, you can live with a clear conscience knowing, I made the effort. And we went our separate ways, and that's okay. That's okay. It can hurt at the time. But isn't that a better option than watching somebody run headlong into a brick wall, knowing that their choices are going to really negatively affect them and maybe a lot of other people as well? It's my opinion that we should reach out and help each other. That's kind of the idea. And sometimes it may not be appreciated, but I believe that in the long run, people do look back on their life and think, wow, if it hadn't been for so-and-so, I may have gone down this really bad road. We parted ways and our lives went in different directions, but I'm really grateful for their advice. Or at least that's the way I like to think it's going to go. But I think in the context of our society nowadays, do unto others as you would have them do unto you means don't say anything negative. Just don't say anything. That you just need to accept and tolerate and allow everything and anything because that's the way you want to be treated. But the truth is I really don't want to be treated that way. Constructive criticism can always be difficult. But if somebody sees something going on in my life and I'm at a different time in my life, I'm retired, I'm at home, so the examples aren't as many, but when I wasn't in office, when I was mayor of my community, if somebody came up to me, and especially, for instance, when we would put an ordinance in play, and you're very focused on what that ordinance is going to do, and I think of one in particular where we wanted all driveways to be hard surfaces, because when you're just using your front yard as a driveway, it can start to look pretty junky. My community is old and a few homes still had that kind of a front driveway, and so when the house changed hands, we wanted that to be part of the requirement for changing hands. I thought that was brilliant. It was going to solve the problem. It was going to update things. It was going to look great. But then I had a resident come to me who lived in a beautiful, charming old home, and they had a gravel driveway that kind of was winding across their property up to their garage, all very charming, all very well tended. And they said, if you put that ordinance in place, that's going to require my driveway to be a hard surface as well. And ultimately, I don't think that's going to be a better look. It's better for runoff to not have that hard surface. And they were right. And I was glad they came and spoke up, because there were a number of homes that were going to be affected by that. But I'd become very tunnel visioned at just the homes that maybe needed some encouragement to improve their property. So the point is, I appreciated the critical consideration and being told that maybe my idea wasn't so great. And while that might fall under not liking to be told what to do, it is very valuable to have people, give you their point of view. Always take other people's criticism with a charitable outlook. If it's delivered with a charitable outlook, you can receive it in that way. So I would like to leave you with this particular thought, that do unto others as you would have them do unto you, I think really is referring more to the virtues in life. Charity, love, honesty, those types of virtues. You want to be treated with those. And that's the way you should treat others, is with charity and love and honesty and dignity. And the fact that we disagree on something doesn't mean you've broken the golden rule. And sometimes you've helped somebody very much along the way. So do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And when you do it with love and charity, I think things will work out well. So if you enjoyed today's video, push the like button and join us. Subscribe. Have a good day.